You're what? Dave! It's funny. TV.
Welcome to Dave TV.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Dave TV, Dave Stories. On today's episode, Alright, today I have an exciting story for you about a little trip to Philadelphia. So this was early 2000s. Me and a couple friends decided we wanted to go to Philly, and one of our highlights of our trip is we were checking out the newly opened Morimoto restaurant in Philadelphia. There were 5 of us. I was proudly the fifth wheel. I was with 2 couples, Matt and Michelle, and Kelly and Tuan Zito. We had a great time. Drove down, laughed, cried, you know the whole thing. All right, so one of the highlights of our trip was that we were planning to go to Morimoto's restaurant. So we had our reservation. We go, we sit down. Now, Matt he went to culinary school, and frankly, I know he knows his stuff. So when we were going, we made an agreement that anything that either of us got, we would try. And he also gave me a heads up, like he said, some things might be just a little bit scary, but I promise everything will be delicious. So we stuck to a plan. When we got there, we sat down and looked at the menu. And I noticed that it was, I believe, called a Japanese antipasto. All right. It came in different numbers. It came in like a 5, a 7, a 10, and a 13, I think. Maybe something like that. This has been over 20 years. You know what I mean. So, when we were ordering appetizers, Matt ordered the 10 with a Japanese pizza, which was a sushi pizza. I ordered just the 13. So I got the most amount of things in the antipasto. When it came out, and just the easiest way for me to explain it was like a toolbox with different compartments, and it had shot glasses that had each of the little tasting plates that you'd get. So I obviously had 3 that he did not have. The other 10 were the same. By the way, the Japanese pizza, phenomenal. It was sushi pizza, and it was absolutely delicious. So I have this antipasto, okay? Also, Morimoto had his own sake made, and this was actually my first time having sake, and we got the large, which was a big bamboo pitcher. I was drinking this, whatever, having a good time. All right, so here I'm working through my appetizer. I had tried each thing. Now, when the waitress brought the food to the table, she explained what each thing was, but in a lot of it was in Japanese. So I didn't understand what she said. I just went with it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were things like she said Kobe beef. Okay, I get the Kobe beef. I know what we're talking about. But there were other things. I had no idea what she was talking about. So, anyway, like I said, went through everything. I had a couple things I was saving, like the Kobe beef. And there was one thing, though. One shot glass. Couldn't tell what it was. It was kind of like, it was like an oil with like gray blobs floating in it. So I kind of worked through the other things, and Matt tried the other 2 of the things that I had, and they were good. They were tasty. There was this one last shot glass, and I was just so hesitant to have it. But we said, listen, we're going to do it. We're going to try everything. So I got my chopsticks and kind of did a thing, and got it. Wasn't impressed. Was a little bitter. Didn't really love it. Matt's like, how was it? I was like, exactly that. So I said, but you know what? You said. And he goes, all right. I said, I'm going to do it. So he tried it. All right. So we finish up. I have a couple more drinks of sake. And the waitress comes over. And I said, excuse me. I just have a quick question. What was that one? It was in the shot glass. It was a clear liquid, gray blobs. And she goes, I didn't know what the hell she said. So I said, I'm sorry, what's that in English? And she said, cod sperm. That's what she told me. I said, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do. I was trying to figure out if it was a joke, but no, it was not a joke. And I was just like, how did that just happen? So then I chugged some more sake. I basically finished the pitcher. Tried to get the blowjob mouth out of taste out of my mouth. So now at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I walked up to the front counter. Then I asked the person there where the bathroom is, and they directed me downstairs. So I went down, still like feeling ashamed of myself, and I walked into the bathroom to wash off my face and whatnot and pee. So I walked into the bathroom, and there was a wall of stalls that were just all bamboo, and then there was a long trough. Now, a lot of you, I have to explain, I don't know if they're as common anymore. They're definitely not as common anymore. Back in the day, you used to go to bars sometimes, and it would be a big trough, and you just peed. There weren't separators or anything. You just dicks out, pissing in a trough with people right next to you and whatnot. Well, so I started doing my business. So there I am peeing in this trough. And as I'm peeing, I kind of started to look around a little bit more, and that's when I noticed there were soap dispensers at the trough. And it clicked, and I went, oh my God, I'm peeing in the sink. I panicked a little bit, and I finished my business and put soap and washed, and I tried to wash the sink out as much as I could because I was fucking embarrassed. Okay, so I finished my peeing, washed up, and I went back to the table, and as I'm walking to the table, everybody's laughing at me. And I'm going, how the hell did they know? Like, how could they know? They can't know. They shouldn't know. Nobody was in there with me. And I'm like, I'm getting embarrassed because I'm like, what? And so I sit down at the table, and I'm like, how did you guys know? And they're like, know what? And I'm like, I just pissed in the sink by mistake. And they all started laughing hysterically. And I'm going, wait, that's not what you were laughing at? And they were like, no! It's like, what were you laughing at? And they're like, when you went up to the counter to ask the person where the bathroom was, you literally asked Morimoto, the owner of the restaurant and star of like the TV show Iron Chef, which was well, he wasn't necessarily the, one of the stars of Iron Chef. And I had no idea it was him. I was literally in his restaurant. He's a tall Japanese man with a ponytail and glasses. He stands out. Like, I should have recognized him, but still, I'm just such an idiot because I was still thinking about the cod sperm that I didn't even pay attention. And then on top of it, I pissed in the sink. Okay. All of this craziness aside, that was like by far one of my 10 best meals I've ever had. Now, I would pass on the cod sperm again if I'm being honest with you. It didn't really have very much of a redeeming quality other than me being able to tell a funny story. But everything was phenomenal. Okay, I know I'm a big dude, but I'm actually not a big dessert guy. But let's get to that. So then, for dessert, on the menu I see this thing called Chocolate Temple. To give it just an easiest explanation I can, it was basically they figured out every way that they could serve chocolate. So there was like a chocolate ice, there was a chocolate ice cream, there was a chocolate mousse, there was a chocolate foam, there was a chocolate blob. I don't know. I don't remember all the things. It was a whole bunch of different stuff. And honestly, it was phenomenal. It was probably the best dessert I've ever had in my life. All right. So, I don't even know how much, it was maybe a year later, months later, whatever. That same group had actually gone to Philadelphia for a trip, and I was working. I worked in Paramus at the time, and they called me and were like, we have a reservation for tonight. You could come and have dinner with us. And I explained work and this and that, but they were like, there's plenty of time. Like, you can make it. It was about a 3-hour drive from where I live to Philly. And I said, you know what? I want Chocolate Temple. I'm going back. So that's how good the dessert was, that it made me decide to drive 3 hours after working an 8-hour shift to go to Philadelphia to get that. Now, if you saw my previous Dave story, I had a yellow Jeep Wrangler. It was stick shift. So there's a point to that. I hop on the highway to go to Philadelphia, only to find out there was a huge accident. Now, remember, this is before the time of cell phones and GPS and all that stuff. I didn't have a way to detour. I didn't know. I just was stuck. You just sit there. So there I am in a Jeep Wrangler in stop and go traffic going clutch, brake, gas, blah, 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 blah. My calves and my shins have never been so tired in my life by the time I got there. It took me 5 hours to get to Philadelphia, which in turn put me late to the dinner. And like I'm calling like we're texting, we're doing the whole thing, like I'm getting close, like blah blah blah. So like I finally get there, I park, I run right into Morimoto's. They're done eating, like they're up to dessert now. And I walk in and I'm just like, well, at least I made it here for dessert, so I get chocolate temple. And all their faces dropped. It wasn't on the menu. It was a seasonal item. I drove for 5 hours to get one thing, and they didn't have it. I don't even remember what I ended up eating. I think I got something to go, or I don't remember what it was because I just didn't have chocolate temple. Now, just the real kicker here, by the way, is to leave. Remember, no GPS. I messed up and I took the wrong bridge somewhere and I screwed up and I ended up in Jersey on the other side and this and that. And I ended up taking a ride. It took me another 4 hours to get home because I went the wrong way. But anyway, even with all that, go to Morimoto's, get a meal, try things. It doesn't matter. If you want to have the best meal of your life, you can't be afraid to have the worst meal of your life. I hope you enjoyed this Dave story. It's been a good time. Thank you all for any help that you gave feedback before. Like, I really do appreciate feedback on these. It'll help me to get better. Y'all have a good one. So I want to give a couple quick thank yous to literally everybody that's given me any sort of like support, like encouragement. I appreciate that. Anybody that's liked, shared, hell, even watched. If you made it through a whole video, you don't know how much I appreciate that. I'm trying, I'm learning, and I do appreciate you being along for the ride. I appreciate anybody that says hi to me out in the world and, you know, lets me know if they like my content or if they hate it. I don't care. Just let me know. Be nice. We'll have fun, respectful comment. It's awesome. I appreciate all of you that have done that. I do apologize about one thing. I am terrible with names and I'm terrible about knowing where I know people from. So like if I see you someplace and you look familiar, like it's the wheels are turning in my head, but it's probably going to take me like an hour before I process it and go, oh shit, they were from the Framistan with the what. I'm terrible at it. I just want to give a heads up on that. But I really do sincerely appreciate any of you that are supporting me in any which way. To my dozens and dozens of fans, you all fucking rock. All right, stay cool. So this story came back as a memory to me. I was actually out with a couple friends for a friend's birthday last night. His name is Kyle, and I'd like to say happy birthday really quick. I'd also like to say a very happy birthday to Boba Fett. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Smoke weed every day.